Baggage fees just went up again. Every major airline raised them in 2026. For two people flying round trip, you're now handing airlines over $200 before you ever even leave the gate. I decided 3 years ago that was the last time. Here's exactly how I pack for anywhere from 1 to 3 weeks without checking a single bag. My name is Jackie, and after 40 years of travel, I finally cracked the carry-on code. No repeating outfits, no sacrificing comfort, no looking like I just rolled out of a backpack. This works whether you're packing for 7 days or 21. Same system, same bag. Let me show you how. Here's what most people get wrong about carry-on only travel. They think it means choosing between style and practicality. They think it means wearing the same 3 outfits on repeat or leaving behind the things that make travel comfortable after 50. That is not what this is. What I figured out is that the problem was never the bag. It was the system. Once I had the right system, everything changed. Let me show you exactly what changed in 2026, because this affects every single one of us. American, Delta, United, Alaska, and yes, even Southwest, the airline we used to count on for free checked bags, have all raised their baggage fees. Here's what you're actually paying now. Southwest, the first checked bag is $45. The second is $55. American, Delta, United, first bag ranges from $35 to $45 depending on the route. And then the second checked bag is $45 to $55 across the board. But it gets worse. American just added a basic economy surcharge. If you book their discounted fare, you know, the one most of us actually like, you pay $5 extra per bag. That means $50 prepaid or $55 at the airport for your first bag. $60 prepaid or $65 at the airport for your second bag. American is the first U.S. carrier to do this. I bet the other airlines will follow, as they did with the baggage fees. So for a 14-day trip to Europe as a couple, flying basic economy, you could easily spend $200 to $220 on baggage fees alone. That's a nice dinner in Paris, a cooking class in Tuscany, or spa day. You know, you literally are handing that money over to the airline. All 5 airlines I tested against, American, Delta, United, Southwest, and Alaska, if you travel 3 times a year, that's over $500 handed directly to the airline for the privilege of overpacking. I would rather spend that money on a better hotel room, a nicer dinner, or an experience I'll actually remember. That is luxury hybrid travel to me. Spending smarter, not more. Let's start with the bag itself, because this is where most people make their first mistake. Not every carry-on is created equal. Size matters. Weight matters. And after 50, how it feels on your body matters more than anything. I use the Luggage carry-on, and here's why it works. It has compression straps inside that let me pack more without the bag bulging. 4 spinner wheels, not 2, which makes navigating airports so much easier at our age. It has a built-in TSA lock. It has lightweight construction, which means the bag itself isn't eating into my weight limit. And most importantly, it meets airline size requirements across multiple carriers, which is 22 by 14 by 9. Key is finding a bag that clears most airlines, because if you're traveling international, the rules change depending on who you're flying. I'll link some information below along with a couple of other options for bags I've tested at different points along the way. And here's something I wish I had known sooner. Invest in a good personal item bag too. It goes under the seat in front of you, and it can hold another 3 to 4 days worth of essentials if you pack it strategically. I've covered personal item bags in some of my other videos. I'll link those below as well. All right, now comes the good part. I'm about to show you the actual packing systems that let you maximize every inch of space so you can carry on and save that $200. If you're finding this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. I test travel gear and share practical systems like this so you don't waste your money figuring out everything on your own. Stick with me. This next part is where it all comes together. Now here is where the magic happens. And this is the part that surprises most people. I do not pack outfits. I pack pieces. Everything I bring works with everything else. That means I can mix and match across 7 days or stretch it to 21 without even feeling like I'm repeating myself. For a 7-day trip, here's my formula. 3 tops that all coordinate with your bottoms, 2 bottoms, pants, skirts, or shorts depending on the destination, 1 dress that can go casual or dressy with different shoes and accessories, 1 light jacket or cardigan, 7 pairs of underwear, 4 to 5 pairs of socks, 2 bras, sleepwear, and 2 pairs of shoes maximum. And then I wear the 3rd pair on the plane. If all 3 tops work with both bottoms, you've got 6 different outfit combinations right there. For a 14 to 21 day trip, the formula does not change much. Laundry becomes a part of your routine, just like it is at home. You'll do laundry once on a 14-day trip, twice on a 21-day trip, around day 7 and day 14. Most hotels offer laundry service, or you can find a local laundromat, which honestly can kind of be a fun cultural experience. A load of laundry halfway through your trip means you can pack for 7 to 8 days and repeat. If I stay at an Airbnb, I always look for one at least with a washer. Sometimes they have a dryer. So I use packing cubes to compress everything. I sometimes will pack by event or by region or by climate. Generally, I'll keep undergarments, bras, socks, pajamas all together, but this really isn't about just saving space. It's about staying organized so you're not tearing apart your entire bag looking for one item. The fabrics matter as much as the pieces themselves. I look for wrinkle-resistant, lightweight, packable fabrics. Merino wool, synthetic blends, and jersey knits are definitely my friends. Linen, not so much, unless you embrace the rumpled look. But here's the contrast that always surprises people. My travel wardrobe often looks more put together than what I wear at home because every single piece was chosen intentionally. Let me talk about packing cubes for a minute, because not all cubes are created equal, and I have tested enough to know the difference. Regular packing cubes organize your stuff, but compression cubes actually save space. I tested the same outfits in regular cubes versus compression cubes, and the compression ones save me about 30% more space. Ones I typically use are trip to travel, and I absolutely love them. Here's what makes them worth it. Double zippers that compress down, mesh panels so you can see what's inside. They're durable enough that I've used the same set for 3 years. You can absolutely find cheaper options than Tripped, but after buying budget sets that have fallen apart, I invested in quality. I really wish I had done it much sooner. This is the area where most carry-on only attempts fall apart. People either overpack toiletries or they leave behind the things that actually make them comfortable. Here's my approach. TSA requires liquids in containers of 3.4 ounces or less, all fitting in one quart-size bag. That sounds limiting until you realize most of what you actually need comes in travel sizes or solid form now. Here's what I actually bring. I bring my shampoo and conditioner bars, a small moisturizer, usually I keep that in my personal item bag, sunscreen if I'm going somewhere where I need it, minimal makeup in a smaller bag. I have pared down my makeup needs because I figured out I wear the same things over and over. Medications, typically if you're going overseas, those need to be in your original containers. Solid deodorant. You can do solid perfume now too. I buy the little mini travel size from Sephora. I love those, so I just throw those in my makeup bag. And then toothpaste. I also use toothpaste tablets. Again, I'll link everything below. Everything else is either solid, powder, or I'll just buy it there. The toiletry bag I use, also trip travel, trip travel gear. It's leak proof and has actually saved me when a bottle did crack during a flight. But what I leave behind, I buy at my destination. Most hotels provide the basics anyway, body wash, all of that. So if you're staying at an Airbnb, maybe they do, maybe they don't, but look ahead and plan. And for flight comfort on long flights, these live in my personal item bag, not my carry-on, so they're always accessible because after 50 on a long flight, that's not optional. It's part of the strategy. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What about formal occasions? I pack one versatile piece that dresses up or down depending on the accessories. A great pair of tailored pants, a silk blouse. You can go from a nice dinner to a cooking class to a rooftop bar. It's all about the accessories you pair it with. What about shoes? Shoes are the biggest carry-on challenge for trips over a week. I bring 3 pairs maximum, no matter the length of the trip. One that walks all day, but still looks good at dinner. One that's strictly comfortable for heavy sightseeing days, and then one that dresses up. Everything else is a luxury that you're paying $200 to check. And what about medication and medical supplies? This is real for travelers over 50 and nobody talks about it honestly enough. Medications travel in your personal item bag. Never, ever put them in your carry-on because your carry-on could be gate checked. If you're going on a 21-day trip, bring a 30-day supply. So what if your carry-on bag gets gate checked? It happens on smaller regional jets especially. So here's how I protect against it. Board early as possible. Keep your most valuable and fragile items in your personal item bag always, and never pack anything in your carry-on that you can't afford to lose or have delayed. Here's the honest truth about all of these objections. I had every single one of them before I committed to carry-on travel only. Every single one felt like a deal breaker, but none of them actually were. Here's what carry-on travel only actually feels like once you get the system right. You walk off the plane, you go straight to wherever you're going. No baggage claim, no waiting, no carousel anxiety, wondering if your bag made the connection. That feeling alone is worth every bit of effort it took to figure this out. Here's what I wish I had known sooner. Carry-on travel is not about deprivation. It's about freedom. Freedom from baggage claim lines, freedom from lost luggage anxiety, freedom from extra fees, and freedom to move quickly through the airports. Everything I mentioned today is linked in the description below. And if you decide to purchase anything, please use my links. It doesn't cost you any extra, but it helps me keep making these videos for you. Also, I've included my free packing checklist that tells you how to pack for the destination or wherever you're going. Are you team carry-on only, or are you team checked bags? Let me know in the comments below. I checked bags for decades before I figured this out, so there's no judgment here. If this was helpful, please hit that like button and subscribe for more smart travel strategies that actually work. And remember, pack light, travel luxe, and make no apologies. Thank you for watching.